2021. Kick off our agenda. First thing is roll call. Rachel, is everyone here today, or do we have anyone missing?
Deanna, was Ed planning on being at this meeting, or are we
I was
working
just
with the 4 people present?
We should be fine with the 4 people present. I thought he was going to, but he may have forgotten.
Deanna?
Or can you hear me?
She's on, but...
The host would like you to unmute your microphone.
Look like the Zoom meeting is
you can
recording,
press *6 to unmute.
I'm sorry, it wouldn't unmute me. I'm sorry. Ed, I thought he was going to be on the meeting, but we do have a quorum without him.
Okay. And are you recording the Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're good.
All right. So first, we need to have a motion in regards to our meeting of approval of minutes from our March 17th meeting. So does someone want to make a motion in regards to that?
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say, we'll just say aye on this one, okay, if that's okay, Rachel? Everybody say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. So we're going to hear our first appeal, which is Mr. Gregory Mattern. Are you here, Mr. Matten?
We need to approve the agenda as well as the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, to approve the agenda? Okay. Yep. So can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes unanimously. So our first appeal is Gregory Mattern. Mr. Mattern, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Mr. Mattern, we're here to hear your appeal today. Let me just bring it up again. And you wish to move to 2057 Harold Street, apartment number 4. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So what's going to happen today, we're going to hear your appeal. First, we're going to ask you to describe your offense, what happened, and how you were convicted. In addition, sir, then you will have an opportunity to discuss the reasons you want to let the board know why you should be allowed to live in Green Bay. We may ask questions during that time, but we'll try to stay quiet and listen to your whole amount, and then we'll go around the board and they will ask questions of you. You will have a chance to respond to those things. And then after that, we may ask questions in regards to your treatment program. I'm going to ask you right now, if we do ask questions, is it something you want to go into private session with, or would you be okay with staying in public session as we discuss those things?
It's fine in public.
Okay. All right, sir, I'm going to go ahead and cede the floor to you. So again, we want to understand your what happened in your case, how it came to be known, how are you convicted, and any information as to why you should be allowed to live in Green Bay. Go ahead.
Okay. To begin with, I was on social media, Kick Messenger, and I was talking to people, and it ended up that I got invited to a room, and when I entered that room, it ended up being child pornography, and you know, I tried getting out of the room as fast as I could, but I didn't understand the app too well, and it ended up, I guess, stuff was loading on the screen, and I was trying to not, you know, I was trying to get out of the room and not understand what was going on, and then I got out of that, and I still stayed stayed on Kick Messenger, but not in the aspect of going for that type of material. And then the conviction shows up as a police officer, or I do believe special agent, shows up at my work to discuss with me what happened and whatnot. And then at that, I was arrested because there was multiple people in this room, and ended up being, you know, that type of stuff was on my phone, and I really didn't know it.
Okay. Sir, do you want to tell us why you should be allowed to live in Green Bay?
Well, because my wife lives here, my stepson, and I've lived here my whole life. I know nothing beyond Green Bay, so
So right now, I understand you're at the TLP, is that correct, sir?
no, I'm at my wife's residence.
Okay, are you currently living there?
No, I am not.
Okay. Just real quickly here, is our officer online here today?
Yes, I'm on. You can hear me.
Oh, there you are, Paul. Paul, just reviewing the record, in terms of his assessment, is that what was written into the record, or is it anything different?
According to the criminal complaint, Mr. Matter later stated, reading from the criminal complaint, that he had participated in inappropriate kiki activity, but it was in the past. Matter used to be involved in viewing child pornography via kiki because he was intrigued and curious. According to the criminal complaint, he had done it prior, and apparently it looks like he may have shared videos, and he had definitely received videos from a party in Canada, and that's where the investigation originated from.
Okay, thank you. Sir, how do you respond to the officer in terms of reading in the record that's not quite what you portrayed to us?
I mean, I guess the fact is, you know, I may have forgotten some of it, but I don't remember intentionally downloading that stuff and viewing it.
Did you share it, as you indicated?
Yes.
You shared videos?
From my understanding, it was only the one.
Okay. So is there anything else you'd like to say before we go around and ask questions of you?
Not that I can think of, sir.
Okay. I'm just going to open up the floor to any board members that would like to ask him questions.
I do. It looks like you were convicted in 2019 and got a 3-year sentence. When did you get released from prison?
I got released on January of this year. I do believe it was the 19th.
And you've been at the TLP since then?
Up until Saturday, and at the present moment, I am homeless.
Okay. Did you participate in any kind of treatment while you were incarcerated?
No, I did not. When I spoke to the psychologist, she said that I didn't need treatment.
What was the age of the children that you were watching in the video?
I have no clue on the honest age. I do believe they said it was prepubescent.
Okay. And then in the form that you had to fill out, we asked the question, how do you feel that sexual crime affected your victims? And you put NA.
Well, when I spoke to the judge had said that there really wasn't a victim, young lady that was in the video was a victim, and, you know.
Then why didn't you fill out that question then?
I wasn't sure on how to fill it out.
Sir, I would like to go back to a little bit in regards to what your original conversation was versus what the officer indicated. So it sounds like to me that you were on this site or this porn portion of this website more than once, versus you said it was a one-time only thing, and as soon as you saw it, you tried to get off. But yet at the same time, you said you did share a video. So, you know, what I don't understand is you said, hey, I tried to get off right away. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything was downloaded to my phone. But yet you actually shared the video. So you did know something was on your phone.
Actually, when I was trying to get out, I did find out later that I shared it. I had no clue. Like I said, I was just hitting buttons trying to get out, and I found out that something was shared. I intentionally did not share any of that stuff. I did intentionally view adult women.
Okay.
Can I ask what kind of conversation you had with this group that led to going into that site?
Well, what led to that is I was quite embarrassed that I have a ED issue, and at the time I wasn't very comfortable and open about it. I was trying to hide as much as possible, trying to figure out different ways to take care of it, and you know, it got brought up on there, and some guys were like, oh, well, here, this will help you, and I entered that room, and it ended up being all that stuff on there.
And are you still married?
Yes, I am.
But you're not going to live with your wife?
Oh, I cannot. The landlord did not approve me to live here.
And she won't come live with you?
I don't know. She is still under the lease with here. She just moved in a few months ago.
Okay, is there any more questions for him? Sir, do you have any more information you want to provide to us?
Not that I can think of.
All right, is there any just general discussion?
There is a speaker who wanted to speak on this agenda item.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Who is that?
I was informed it was Jacqueline Mattern.
Okay, she can go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi. Just wanted to speak on behalf of my husband. We know that the charge is a very serious charge of nature, and we are most certainly aware of that. How this all came about obviously was a very difficult time for him. Unknown to me until a later time that this concern of an ED issue was going on. I am fully aware of the content that was viewed, was shared. One thing I would like to hopefully be able to stress with the board is, despite the events that led up to this, Greg has the 3 years of incarceration done very well. There were no tickets. His conduct was always very professional. We, definitely have experienced a lot of hardship through this. There's been a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of trying to understand the events that took place. I believe that 3 years of incarceration has definitely led Greg to believe that this is serious. It cannot happen again. This, young group of girls was victimized by the viewing and the sharing of the content, and definitely a lesson has been learned. He's got a wonderful support system, not only just with myself, but my son, his stepson, his daughter, my mother-in-law, my aunt, many friends and family that we have that are supporting him, congratulating him on getting a job shortly after release, continuing to maintain that job, has had no problems at the TLP or anywhere out in the community. So I would hope that the board would consider that even though, yes, the charge is a serious one, that we have someone who is trying to follow the rules and follow the laws and be granted the opportunity to gain a residence. And hopefully later at a time when I should be able to, and hopefully be able to obtain residency with him at some time.
Or does anybody have any questions for her? All right, ma'am, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I do have one more question for Mr. Mattern. Mr. Mattern, according to your judgment of conviction, it says that you are to comply with GPS monitoring. Are you currently on a bracelet?
Yes, I am, but I was told that was only because I was considered, because I was homeless now that I'm on a GPS bracelet. As soon as I gain residency, that GPS bracelet is supposed to be gone that I know of.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now we'll just open up to a general discussion of the board if they want to share any of their views and thoughts before we move to a vote.
Go ahead, Faith. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say the part that concerns me a little bit is that yes, treatment was not recommended, but I'm not hearing a real understanding of the victim element. And I would feel a little better if treatment followed.
I guess, you know, Faye, I agree with you as well in regards to the treatment. I think the bigger thing that bothers me the most is obviously we gave Mr. Mattern a chance to indicate, you know, what his crime was and what came about, and it sounded, you know, in my opinion, when it happened, you know, somewhat accidentally, and he tried to get off it, you know, relatively quickly, and didn't want to view that type of pornography. And then based upon the officers reading to the record, to me it seemed like this had happened more than once, and obviously a file was shared, at least one file. So I take issue with, you know, managing the truth here in regards to what he told us versus what we heard from the officer. So those are two concerns I have.
My question has to do with the landlord letter. It's not signed. It's just typed out like anybody could have did it. Can we accept that as a landlord letter?
Rachel, is that a question? Is that a question for Rachel?
Sure.
I don't have the landlord letter in front of me. Deanna, did we have a signed landlord letter for that one?
I'm sorry, we don't. I'm familiar with this landlord. I can give him a call and just confirm that he did send this letter.
So, I mean, any motion or approval would have to be contingent upon getting that letter signed.
Okay. Heidi, do you have anything you want to say?
I understand your concerns about, you know, the not getting the treatment and it's not being ordered. I'm not sure. It looks like he's still on probation for 3 years. Whether or not the agent can get him into treatment, I don't know. I guess the one thing that I do look at is, I'm going to guess he's roughly about 52, 53 years old. Doesn't really have much of a criminal history. It took him a long time in life to get where he is at. So, I mean, I do kind of give him the credit for that I do think that this may have been a mistake. For someone who maybe doesn't use computers a lot, I can understand how you can get into an area and not know what you're doing, you know, being in your 50s, late 40s. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
All right. Sir, do you want to say anything to the comments that that were brought out here by the board members at all? Do you want to say anything?
If my agent can get me into treatment, I would gladly seek treatment. I was at Winnebago Correctional, and they really was no treatment there, you know, but I would accept treatment if you know, it is put towards me.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion from a board member in regards to Mr. Madden. I'm going to make a motion to deny Mr. Mattern at 2057 Harold Street, apartment number 4. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Rachel, we have a motion to deny him to 2057 Harold Street, apartment 4. Could we get the vote up?
If everyone is signed into the board view account, then it should come up. I just sent it through, otherwise we'll have to do a voice vote.
I got mine.
I have mine.
I didn't.
Would you qualify again? This is to deny?
Correct.
Deny. Yep. So you say yes, you're agreeing with the motion. If you say no, I disagree, and you would say no.
I didn't get it.
Okay, then I'll have to take a voice vote.
Heidi, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, so what, it's to deny, and what is it?
So if you say yes to deny the location, it's a yes. If you disagree with that motion?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Then the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, sir, you've been denied residency at the location and request to live within the city of Green Bay. It does not mean that you cannot in the future reapply, but at this time the board does not give you permission to live at that particular location. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. All right, the next appeal is Mr. Trey Orschinger. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you did.
All right, sir. We are here to hear your appeal to move to 2769 Daniel Court in Green Bay. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Sir, again, we are going to go over your case. We're going to ask you to tell us what happened, how were you convicted, and why you should be allowed to live at this particular location. In addition to that, if we want to talk about your treatment programs, you have the right to have that in private session or public session. Which would you prefer?
I don't mind a public.
Okay.
I just have a question. Do we have to go through all of this because he was approved for 90 days and then he needed to come back with documentation?
No, we don't. We don't. I take that back. You're right. We don't.
Okay.
And I'm going to abstain from this one.
Okay. Okay, so we need his proof of job status and proof the applicant is on a waiting list for the sex offender treatment. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, here. I just have to see where that is, if that was included in our packet or not.
Dean, it is. He was required to submit that before he could move into that address, so he did submit it. And then he submitted a letter from his treatment provider that's in the packet.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Yep, I see it. Yep. Okay. So is there any other questions of him that anybody wants to ask? Or, sir, do you want to tell us anything?
I would like to let you guys know I am in circles of support as well as a secondary group as a help. I think it's been very beneficial. So that way you guys have, I think you guys have a copy of a letter from the leader of that. I just thought, you guys might want to know that ahead of time. I'm trying, to get groups going, so.
Okay, sir, are you still employed since the time you submitted the letter?
At this time, I am, but I am on a current leave. I am not on the schedule, is what I should say. I'm having medical issues. I have vertigo, and it's been causing some problems. But I am currently employed. I'm just not on schedule at this time.
Okay.
I did have a question. I'm sorry, did you say we could talk about your treatment in public or private?
Yes.
Public, okay.
Public.
So it looks like you've been in treatment since March. Can you tell us what you kind of learned in that time? How often are you going?
And actually it was February. He accidentally wrote the wrong date. I started in February. But yes, I enjoy the group actually. It's not as bad as people give it. I think it does help. I learned, some of the stuff I learned was that I need to work on my boundaries. I do. I know I do. And they're going to help me with that. They're also going to be helping me with learning to know what my triggers are, and I'm going to work on that. I have been in the group since February, so I go every week. I either go over to one of my group members' houses and we do it over video, or I do it over my cell phone. And my PO's okay with that. She's actually expressed that she's glad I do that. So I think the group has been very beneficial as well. I noticed some of the things I used to think, I'd be walking down the street and I'd see this, cute girl. I'd be like, hey, what up, Now I just like, okay, well, is it worth my time? Is it even worth me going back to jail? They got me thinking about the way I should act and the way I shouldn't. So I believe that it has been beneficial.
Can you explain you say you have trouble with your boundaries. Can you give some examples?
So I know a couple people that I've known for years, and I say things that, are questionable. My friend's married. I've known her for years. Her husband knows all about me, knows all my crime and all that, and he understands that I, have issues with this. But I make jokes that I shouldn't, and I know I make them, and I know I shouldn't be, but I have a hard time controlling myself in doing that. But I'm working on getting better with this and making it to where I can control what I say and what I do.
Do you need a chaperone when you go out and about in public?
Only to certain places. Like if I want to go to the mall to shop, I have to have a chaperone. Movie theaters. Otherwise, for the most part, I'm relatively free to do what I need to. I can go grocery shopping whenever, stuff like that. But like when I'm going to a mall to go shopping, I have to have a chaperone. Certain restaurants I can't go to without a chaperone because of, the play places and all that. But for the most part, if they have that, I'm just going through drive-through. So I try to be aware of that as well.
Okay. Any other questions for him?
Yes. Okay. You're living with your grandma and grandpa. What's the biggest challenge of living with your grandma and grandpa?
As you might have just heard, following the rules. They want me to help with things, and there's times where I'm just being lazy, and I shouldn't be. I know I shouldn't be, but I am. I'm 28, almost 28 years old. I should be learning not to be, but I do get lazy sometimes, and I definitely have a hard time doing some of the stuff they want me to do without complaint. eventually it gets done. It's just a matter of me complaining about it. So I try to help them as much as I can, though. I believe that, I have helped enough, with them in general, just to show that I'm really trying. And I've been doing whatever they need me to do whenever I have, so.
Then how do you fill your day if you're not working? What are you doing?
For the most part, if my grandparents are looking for help, I try to help them. Otherwise, I usually I take care of, we have a dog, a young puppy, so she's a little wild. I keep an eye on her as well. But for the most part, I'm usually the one that I'll be out and about making dinner or something, or I'll even go over to like group members' houses and just so I have people to keep me out of trouble and not to go and do stupid things. I try to find positive influences, so that kind of is one thing that I do try to do. And someone's phone's going off. Sorry about that. Somebody's phone's going off in the background. I think it's probably my grandma's. I try to do what I can to help them as much as possible, and that's usually what most of my day consists of, is helping them. On my normal days off, I go over to friends' houses to hang out, but that's about most of my days, is just helping them as much as possible.
Well, can I give you a suggestion? They're being very nice at letting you live there, and grandparents don't complain.
And as I said, I know I complain. I know I do it. I shouldn't be, but I do. I try to do as much as I can for them, though. So.
Okay. Anything else from anybody else? Okay. Does anybody want to make any comments before we move to a motion?
I guess I'll just say that he's done what we've asked of him. He enrolled in the treatment. He actually did more by joining the Circles of Support, which kudos to you. I think that's a great program.
Thank you.
And providing us the documentation of his job. We approved him for 90 days. He hasn't had an issue. So I'm okay.
Me too. That's where I'm at kind of with this right now.
Great.
All right. Could I have a motion in regards to his location?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Borschinger to 2769 Daniel Court, address specific.
I'll second.
I sent the vote through, so Heidi, if you're not seeing it, voting yes?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, sir, you've been approved to permanently stay at this location. If you do move within the city of Green Bay, you will have to come in front of the board again because it's address specific. We will send that notice to the current location you're at. All right?
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
All right, our next review is for Mr. Sean Mcgowan. Mr. Mcgowan, are you here?
Yes, sir, I am. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Again, we're here to hear your review. I know that you had come before us prior, and this is looking at after your 180 days that's been that we saw you last. And so one of the things is we wanted to hear how your treatment programs are going. So the first thing I have to ask you though before we start that, are you okay to have that in public, or do you want to move to a private session?
Oh, public is absolutely okay with me. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Well, I'm still and currently in treatment with Family Services of Green Bay with Dr. Jim Drake. That's going That's going amazing. I was seeing a therapist before him, Jody over at Brown County Community Treatment Center before my probation agent, Marta Lazansky, encouraged me to see Dr. Jim Drake. And that was going okay, but she wasn't touching base with my SO needs or, any deviancies that I've been having in regards to. And since she's introduced me to Dr. Jim Drake and I've been working with him, this has been since, I believe, September of 2019. And Dr. Jim Drake is just absolutely intense. He'll ask me a question and he wants a response right away. He doesn't give me a chance to, think of anything or come up with anything that, tell him what he wants to hear. I need to tell him everything. And it's been going great. He's helped me address a lot of my issues with, my issues with trust, consent, equality, stable relationships, transparency, being open and being honest. He's also helped me out with my issues pertaining to my borderline personality disorder and self-harm. It's just been going great. Both Dr. Jim Drake and my probation agent, Marta Lazansky, have been absolutely supportive, with me on this since day one, and I can't ask for a better support network. These guys have just been phenomenal in helping me, getting my life back together, just making better decisions, making better choices, engaging with pro-social others, just finding better avenues and channels for my emotional triggers or distresses. I'm currently...
So is your social group changed at all in terms of, in terms of people you're spending your time with?
Well, my social group is actually everybody that's just positive about it. They're supportive. They know about my criminal history and my background. We just get together and spend time together, whether it's working on music or artwork or jewelry crafting. I spend a lot of time with my family as well too. So I don't have any time for getting into trouble or being around negative people, which is something that I absolutely need because of my previous lifestyle choices and decisions and activities that I've been a part of were not healthy at all. They were very, very destructive towards others and myself. And my previous thinking was all about and revolved around self and instant gratification. If I got something out of it, it didn't matter, who I hurt or what I affected or anything like that. And that's not what I want. I have people in my life right now that care for me, that love me, that support me. And to me, that's important. And for me to accept that, I have to reconcile to exchange that back and forward. So for me, everything has just been so positive for me.
Are you on
very happy.
Current medication?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, and how long have you been on it?
I've been on my medication since June or July of 2019. Do you need medications that I'm on, or?
No, I just want to know if you were still on. We had asked a question before. I just wanted to see if you were still on that medication.
Oh yes, sir, absolutely. I'm currently taking my mood stabilizers, antipsychotics, and my attention deficit disorder medication too. All of those help with keeping me in line, helping me with my mood balancement and stabilization, and keep me balanced. It really helps.
Okay. I don't have any more questions for him. Does anybody else have any questions?
No.
All right. Does anybody have a general discussion they want to take place before we move to a motion?
I guess I'll just say, again, he's doing everything that is expected of him, above and beyond what we've asked. So I don't have an issue with what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I think Jim Drake wrote, I think one of his most extensive letters that I've seen in 10 plus years here as well. So I don't know if he was having a good day or not when he wrote that letter, but that's the most I've seen from him in a long time. So I kind of in the same line here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion.
Well, I'll I'll make a motion to approve Mr. McGowan to 332 South Chestnut Avenue, address specific.
I'll second that.
All right, you should have the vote. Heidi, did it pop up for you?
So I'm a yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, sir, you've been approved permanently at your current location for address specific. We will send it to that location. If you do move within the city of Green Bay, you will have to come in front of the board again. You understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank you guys again very much for your time and consideration. I really appreciate it.
All right. The next appeal that we have is Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters, are you here?
I'm here.
All right. So last time we heard from you was July of 20.
Yes, that's correct. I was living on 1280 Doty Street at the time. I just currently moved to a different address. I've been homeless, but I just got a place to live.
When did you get into that place?
March.
Okay. All right. Just gonna look at one other thing here real quickly. Again, if we want to talk about your treatment program, sir, are you okay with either moving that into public or a private session? Would you like?
We can do it public.
All right. Okay. Does anybody from the board have any questions of him?
How long have you been at the Jefferson address?
I just recently moved in here.
You said March?
Yeah, March.
Before the March meeting, I guess is what I'm asking?
Yeah, before.
After the March meeting?
I didn't have no March meeting. I just appealed. I had to get the forms from my PO. She finally sent me everything for that. Before she transferred over. So I finally filled out all the letters. That was back, I think it was sometime in March. I filled out that paperwork for the meeting.
And why are you moving?
My brother moved. He just getting engaged, getting married. And I had no other, he was moving in with his fiance. So I had to move out. And I had to get this place so that I was been homeless on the street.
He's been homeless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was moving out of his residence and because he was engaged, he was getting married so he moved in with his fiance.
All right. Renee, any more questions?
I guess it's a question for the board. I'm not seeing any documentation of any kind of treatment.
Yeah, the treatment was back when I was on probation. It was part of my probation.
Okay.
Can you describe it? Who was it with? Where did you have it?
It was over at the Family Services. It was with Jim Drake, I think his name was. That was back 25 years ago.
And have you been in any other treatment since? Like anger management?
Anger management program, which that was with Amanda Captain through the Correctional Services.
Okay.
How long have you been out of prison? When did you get out?
I was never in prison. I was on probation for 3 years. That was quite a few years ago. I had no offenses ever since that, no prior record of anything of this crime.
I'm going to look again. I thought there was something in 1995. But
that was in 95, yeah. That was the only record I have was in 95. Yeah, it was 95 it was.
So approximately when was treatment?
That was when I was on probation, when I was charged for the crime, is when I had the treatment. I've been trying to get the records on that, and so was my PO, and we couldn't find any records on it.
And so now will you be living alone?
Yeah, I'll be living alone, but I have my family supporting me and coming here, checking on me, or calling me to make sure I'm doing okay, if everything. So I have my mom here with me to support me.
Okay, is there any discussion anybody wants to have before I ask for a motion?
I'd just like to say, I mean, we approved him back in July to live with his brother. We didn't ask for any of this documentation at that time. I'm assuming it was because the offense happened in 1995. Looking at his record, and he admitted at that time that he had the new pending charge, or he had a dispute with his girlfriend at the time. We approved him. No issues since. I have no problems with him continuing on his own.
Good point, Heidi. Anybody else have anything to say? All right, I'd like a motion, please, in regards to Mr. Peters requesting to move to 426 South Jefferson Street, Apartment 7.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Peters to reside at 426 South Jefferson, Apartment 7, address specific.
I will second that motion.
Heidi, I assume since it was your motion?
I'm a yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, sir, you've been approved to move to 426 South. That was at Jefferson again, I'm sorry.
South Jefferson.
Yep, address specific, Apartment 7. You want us to send that information to that location?
Yes, please.
All right, if you do move again within the city of Green Bay, we ask that you come in front of the board. And if you do plan on it, please try to get to us prior to you moving, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Mr. James Goss.
He's on here, he just needs to unmute himself.
Mr. Goss? Mr. Goss, you're still muted. Mr. Goss? Mr. Goss, I'm going to ask that if you ever have a problem, if you're having a a technical problem, if you could at least bring up the chat box and type something in to know that you're hearing us, or that you're up, or you're having a technical problem.
It looks like he's calling in on a phone. He's not on the computer.
Okay.
Deanna, is there any way that you can unmute as the host?
I've tried a couple times and it won't unmute him.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to put Mr. Goss at the end of our meeting and hear their next appeal, and allow him to maybe log off and then log back in where he can hear us. Is there a second to that motion, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion so passes. All right, then we're going to go ahead and move to our last appeal of Mr. Robert Haas. Mr. Haas, are you on?
I'm here.
All right, sir. In a quick second, I just got to bring your file up. All right, sir, you're looking to move from 421 Cherry Street to 1313 St. George, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Obviously, we saw you back in July of 20. I guess the first thing to start off again is, again, if we want to talk about any treatment program, you have the right to do that in public or private.
Public's fine.
Okay. All right, with that, why are you looking to move, sir?
Because the director, because I live in a sober living house right now, and the director of the place had told me, I believe before I moved in last year, he told me that he was allowing me to stay there until I get off of supervision, which is coming up in 3 weeks. And I decided to look for a residence while I was on supervision still, because I could ask for help from my probation parole agent.
Okay. And it looks like you're still employed at American Food Groups, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've had, it looks like, no issues with the law since you've been out, is that correct?
Correct.
Yep, I see as well. Questions for him, anybody? All right, with no questions, does anybody want to make a motion in regards to this location change?
Is there any discussion before the motion?
Can I ask who you'll be living with?
Daniel Konchak. He's the owner of the residence I'm trying to move to.
Do we have a letter?
Yes, I submitted that with the application.
Okay, let me just...
Yep, I see it. It's on page 4.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm doing this on an iPad and it's darn slow, so it takes me a second to get through all the pages.
I can verify it's signed.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other questions or discussion anybody wants?
I guess I'll just make a comment that, Mr. Haas has been before us on several occasions, and we've pretty much approved him every single time. There was the one incident where we didn't, and I can't really see why we denied him. Again, I have no issues moving forward with him going to this address.
Okay, with that said, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Haas to 1313 St. George Street, address specific.
I will second.
All right, that vote should be in front of you.
I'm a yes.
Heidi, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, sir, you've been approved to move to the 1313 St. George Street. Would you like the notice sent there or at your existing location?
Sent to the 1313 St. George.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Goss, are you,
Yes, I am sorry. I apologize. I could not figure out how to unmute my phone, so I apologize.
no, that's why we didn't hear from you. I didn't want to deny you. I wanted to make sure you get an opportunity to fix the technical problem.
Yes, it was a technical, and I did not like that it was being technical with me.
Okay. All right, sir. All right, we're here to hear your appeal to move to 1533 Leo Street, Apartment 3. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why are you looking to move, sir?
I am looking to move because my current landlord does not want to fix anything around here. Property is kept in horrible condition, in my opinion. I did find a new landlord that I did go look at his building, and the property just looks immaculate. And I took this apartment when you guys approved it 2 years ago because I was living in my car in the middle of winter when it was like 20 degrees outside. So that is my reason for wanting to move, because it's not a very nice place, and the other place is much better.
Okay. I'm looking at your landlord letter that you sent to us. So it looks like he just sent it to himself and then printed it for you. Is that what happened here?
He printed it out at home for me, I believe, and then I met up with him and he handed it to me.
Okay. I don't know if the board members are looking at it or not, but he basically typed an email to himself, sent it, and then looks like it was printed.
That's the other landlord letter. I believe so, same name.
It is the same landlord, and I did call him. I forgot to put a note on this one. That's my fault.
Okay. All right, good, okay. Does anybody have any questions of him?
Well, it says this unit's not available till June 1st, so are you going to stay at Badger Street until then?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any questions to him. I'm okay with this particular change.
I'm the same way.
I'm too.
All right, so I'll make a motion to allow Mr. Goss to move to 1533 Leo Street, Apartment 3, address specific. Is there a second?
Second.
Go ahead and vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, sir, you've been approved to move to 1313 George Street, apartment, was it 7 again?
No,
I'm sorry, no, 1533 Leo Street, apartment 3, sorry.
Okay.
Do you want it sent to your existing address since you're not going to move until June 1st?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Charlie.
I got one thing I'd like to say real quick. First of all, thank you very much for approving me, and I want to say thank you to Deanna for helping me with everything, and also you guys for speaking with me on such short notice.
No problem. Thanks for following the rules. We appreciate that.
You are very welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. Our next meeting is May the 19th at 4 p.m. I do want to make an announcement to everybody. I will be resigning from the board effective tomorrow. It's been a long run. It's 12, almost 13 years that I've been on the board. And so I'm starting a new chapter in my life. My wife and I finally sold our home, and we're going to move into Hobart. And my job is just really, really encompassing right now. And so I just felt it was time to try to lighten my load in several different things that I've been involved with over time. So I really appreciate everyone's time and patience with me. I've always tried to do my best, although at times I can tell you I've been really inconsistent, and I apologize for that. But all of you have been very kind to me through this time, so I very much appreciate it. I appreciate all the support from the law department over the years too. This is not an easy task for them to get these meetings together every month and to deal with all the paperwork and the different situations that we've asked of them, as well as the police department. So I want to make sure on record to thank them and the police department for all their support of this board through the years that I've been here. Again, that's where I'm kind of at. I told Rachel that if they have an issue finding someone in the short term, I will be back if they need a quorum or anything like that. So you may have not seen the last of me, but at the same time, I needed to make a change.
Thank you for your years of service.
Thank you, Dean.
Yes, thank you very much.
So don't be strangers. I'll be living in Hobart. In an apartment, we're going from 3,800 square feet to whopping 1,100. So we'll see if my marriage can get to year 30 because we're on 29. So
after COVID, you can do that.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Okay, with that said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
First off, I am not going to be chairman. I'm telling you right now.
Rachel's like, darn.
I make a motion to adjourn after having said that.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good luck.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye.